Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Adriana. This is Michael, the founder, owner, and materials writer for the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. And I'm now going to listen to, it looks like you have recorded 4 different practice tests. And I'm going to give you some feedback on each of those. Let's go to practice test number 1. It says, would you prefer to live in a traditional house or in a modern apartment building?
Due to the convenience and cost, I'd rather live in a modern apartment building than in a traditional house.
Okay, so you have your 2 points, convenience and cost. And then the word the I sound, building.
Firstly, I like the easy life offered by all the modern conveniences in a new fashionable building.
Good. I like the new conveniences offered in, which means which are offered in. You're using a reduced adjective clause. That demonstrates advanced type grammar. Very nice.
For example, in this type of building,
I would say in this type. Make sure you pronounce the T with more air.
Being high-tech makes my life very easy after a long day of work. Furthermore, having a remote to open the garage door or to turn on the lights, it's so convenient for me.
So I would say the word turn on the lights. A little bit of problems with the pronunciation of that turn.
Secondly, I prefer to live in a modern apartment building because it's much cheaper in terms of maintenance. For instance,
so much cheaper in terms of maintenance.
If I would have lived in a traditional house, I would have paid an arm and a leg for maintaining the house in good condition.
For maintaining the house, I would probably say for keeping the house in good condition. Might be a better way to express that idea.
Due to the convenience and easy after a long day of work. Furthermore, having a remote to open the garage door or to turn on the lights, it's so convenient.
There's some pronunciation issues with that
To
one
open
word.
the garage door or to turn on.
Oh, so the garage. The garage or garage, depending on if you're speaking British English or American
The
English.
lights. It's so convenient for me. Second,
is so, you don't need to put it in there, right? Let me see if you use that.
Or to turn on the lights. It's so convenient for me. Secondly,
you said it's so. I would just say is so convenient, not it's so convenient. You have a double subject in there.
I prefer to live in a modern apartment building because it's much cheaper in terms of maintenance. For instance, if I would have lived in a traditional house, I would have paid an arm and a leg for maintaining the house in good condition.
Again, I would say there, to keep the house in good condition. Okay, so here, I'm going to put you at about 24 points out of 30 on this one. So you had some minor language use issues and some minor delivery issues with your pronunciation. Okay, let's go to the next one. Describe something that is important to you. Why is it important to you?
From my perspective, family is a priority in my life because I give the happiness of my family a higher value than money, social life, or career.
Okay, so family is something that you want to describe, and then you talk about why it is important to you. It's a 2-part question. So first, talk about what family means to you, and then why it is important to you.
Most importantly, it starts with respect for my parents. For example, I help them in whatever way I can, thereby showing my love through actions. For instance, if my mom needs a ride to the grocery, I will pick
I would say to the grocery store, not just grocery.
her up. Furthermore, my younger siblings look up to me. Even though I'm living away from home, I still check up on them. For instance, if my brother needs help with homework, I will sit down with him for an hour. Or if my sister has boy troubles, I will listen with a sympathetic ear. It's my hope that I can have my own family in the near future.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is going to give you some trouble on this one. So I don't think that you really described somebody or you have to give a description of what family is before you talk about why it is important to you. So I don't think you've really organized your speaking around the task. Based on the question that you gave me, I'm not going to give you a great score on this one. Let me go back to the rubrics really fast. Okay, the independent speaking. Yeah, I don't think that. Yeah, I don't like this one that much. I'm going to give you 283 out of 4, 22 points out of 30 on this one. I think you need to more directly address the task and present a more coherent organization in response to the task. Okay, let's go to number, I almost skipped one on you. So it says, what is the most important animal in your home country? Where are you getting these questions? Wow. Give reasons and examples to support your opinion. You say, in this question, is it okay to use only one example as long as it is developed and I do not have time for the second example and I also do not have time for the conclusion? Yes, that's fine. Yeah. An extended example can be very effective because it shows depth. It shows depth of your ideas. So yeah, you can do that. Okay, let's listen to what you did. Boy, that would be a tough question. What is the most important animal? What? I'm not even sure how I would answer that. I guess I'd probably say the dog. The dog seems to be, it can help people when they're sick, give them more relief. It's a great companion when people are lonely. Maybe those would be my two examples. It helps sick people and lonely people. Therefore, a dog is an important animal in my country. That's a tough question.
The most important animal in my home country is the horse because people there are using horses for transportation.
Okay, so horses are important for transportation, kind of like a car.
Start by saying that people in my home country have been used horses for many centuries.
Wait a minute, have been using. Let's make sure you said that.
Country have been used horses.
No, that's killing you. No. Have been, remember, be plus ing, have been using horses
For many centuries as the most reliable way to get from one point to another.
That's good. So, reliable means of transportation.
For example, people who live in mountainous regions need horses to move around.
People need, not needs. Because people singular. So
need horses
to... People is plural, so the verb should be plural. Let's listen to that again.
For example, people who live in mountainous regions need horses to...
No, you're good. Need. People who live need horses. That's okay.
Move around because they cannot difficult terrain as long as...
They cannot what? I'm missing something here. Wait a minute.
Because they cannot difficult terrain as...
They cannot difficult terrain. No, they cannot. How about traverse or navigate difficult terrain, maybe?
Long as motorized vehicle cannot get around those areas. For instance, when I was a teenager, I went to visit these regions and I saw many people riding horses.
I went to visit this region or these regions. These regions or this region.
In fact, they are riding horses and they are using them the same way we are using our cars. From my perspective, family is a priority in my...
Okay, so now we're into the next one now. Almost forgot. Okay, this is, I think, better. This is a more organized response from the other one. Now, this one, based on... I pointed out some minor language use and some minor delivery problems. I think you're pretty strong in the topic development area on this one. So I think the example that you gave was strong enough to help support the argument you're trying to make. I'm going to put you here at about 24 points out of 30. So 3.16 out of 4, 24 points out of 30 on this one. All right, let's go to the next one. So I think we have one more here. So traditional house or modern apartment, you've answered that. The most important animal in your country, describe something important to you. And now we have integrated speaking 9. you say, I have to spend most of the time on the lecture and I can just point the main idea from the reading. Yeah, if it's asking you to mostly answer the lecture and it's not asking a direct question about the reading, spend a little time in the beginning about the reading and immediately go to the lecture. But it's a good idea in the beginning, Adriana, to create a topic sentence that connects both the reading and the lecture together. Let's see how you did it.
Both reading and lecture discuss about conflict theory by Karl Marx.
Exactly. But
The reading
I'm not sure that you get it. They both talk about the conflict theory, right? But the reading defines a conflict theory, and I think the lecture gives some criticisms about the theory. That's probably a little bit better topic statement than what you said.
passage talks about the main idea of this conflict theory, which claims that there are two categories of people in a society, working class and capitalist class.
So good so far.
Lecture contradicts the idea from the reading, and firstly the author says that it's not true that those two classes are always in conflict, and actually the author says that are not enough supportive idea to show how a person from working class become a deviant.
So you're starting to have some problems right there with some pacing and some pausing. Your tone is going a little bit crazy. So right there, right before 41 seconds, between about 35 and 40 seconds, there are some delivery problems going on. It's almost like you lost your train of thought a little bit.
Says that in fact there is a contradiction because there are many laws that support the poor class.
There are many laws that support, no S.
And this, it's in...
I would say this, not this. This, no. This, these, this.
Totally contradiction with the reading passage. And finally, the author says that there isn't enough supportive evidence to show how a person in society becomes critical.
Okay, this one is causing you some trouble. So I noticed in this speech, like I was saying, there were certain parts of the speech, it's almost like you lost your train of thought a little bit. Now, in terms of accurately and completely answering the question, I think you're doing a pretty good job with that. But let me look at the rubrics for the integrated speaking task for just a second. Okay, so I think in the 3 range, you're doing a good job, I think, in topic development in the 3 range. But I think you're having some problems with your delivery. So I'm going to put you at between 22 and 23 points out of 30 on this one, between 2.83 and 3.0. So there were some delivery, maybe some language use issues going on. I think that would bring the score down just a little bit. All right? So far, with this one, I gave you feedback on 3 different independent speaking practice tests, and I gave you feedback on an integrated speaking practice test.